Welcome back. My name is Iris and I love makeup, but I don't need to buy anymore. However, I'm interested in the beauty community and there are certain trends that I really do want to be able to replicate. And one of those trends is these super colorful blushes that we see coming out. I've seen a lot more orange, yellow, I've seen some purples this year, true reds, and I think that's amazing. It's very cool that we're finally moving on from there's pink blush, there's peach blush, and there's peachy pink blush. That's great. So I don't need to buy any though, because I know that realistically, I am not going to wear, purple blush 400 times or whatever ridiculous amount it takes to pan a blush. And I do not feel it is worthwhile for me personally to spend, even $7, but a lot of the blushes that are in the super interesting colors seem to be more in that $15 range. I don't think that plastic and that money is worthwhile to spend on a trend that I'm guessing will not be around for an incredibly long time, and something that I probably won't be that interested in wearing 2 years from now. However, we do like to dabble in trends around here, so I have pulled a lot of my eyeshadows and we're gonna see how these would work as blushes for me. Now, I have no idea how a lot of this video is gonna go. I came armed with 2 blush brushes, a color switch, and some makeup wipes. We'll see. Now, if you've been around, you probably know that I do tend to use eyeshadow as blush quite a bit. So I won't probably be swatching a lot of those. I might do them on my hand, but we're trying to minimize the cheek swatches here because, oh my goodness, there's a lot of palettes sitting next to me. Now let's just talk through a few of the ones that I've used in the past. This pink, the reason that there is pan in it is mostly because I use it as blush. I think it's a good time to mention that eyeshadow and blush formulas are not inherently interchangeable. Of course, there might be some blushes that aren't eye safe. We don't really need to worry about that. Anything that's going to be eye safe is going to be cheek safe. However, there are also just a few other differences. Usually, especially with shimmery eyeshadows, they're formulated with the idea of giving you some pretty intense color payoff. When beauty gurus talk about eyeshadow, they usually talk about it being pigmented, whereas with blush, you usually want to hear the words sheer or buildable. And that means that even colors that might work quite well for your skin tone don't necessarily end up looking good on your cheeks because they're just not meant to be as sheer as you might want a blush to be. Let's actually start this video off by talking about just a few of the eyeshadows that I already regularly use as blushes. And actually, let's start with one that I don't know that you've seen me use as a blush before, which is this sort of peachy terracotta shade from the NYX Avant Pop palette in Nouveau Chic. I'll give you a quick swatch of that. I don't use this much as a blush anymore because it's just a pain to get into now. I think I probably need to take it out and repress it, but man, that doesn't sound like fun. So I've been putting it off for like a year. And that's just a really nice, easy peach shade. It shears out quite nicely on the cheeks. Another one, let me see if I can't find it. That pink that we've talked about earlier, I've used this several times on my channel, and I've got a swatch right there. Build that up a little bit more so you can see it even more clearly. Lovely. Emphasizes texture a little more than I would like, but it still does look nice. And the other one that I really regularly use as a blush on my channel is this mauve shade. And you can see a swatch of that right there. It's coming off just a little bit more brown on camera, I think, than it is in real life, but all three are lovely. All three have gotten a lot of use from me, and I am excited to see if there are any other gems hidden in my collection. So I think that I'm going to start with the lighter shades that I think might work as blush, and then work my way up to the deeper ones. That's just because I think that some of the deeper ones may stain my cheeks a little bit, even when I'm taking off the makeup with a makeup wipe. So I'm not as worried about that with the lighter shades. And really, even if the lighter shades do stain a little bit, the darker shades should be able to sort of overpower that. I think I'm going to start with one that I actually have used as blush before, though I don't know if that I've ever done on my channel. This is a very light sort of beige pink from my e.l.f. Bite Size palette in Berry Bad. I'm gonna just get some of that on my blush brush. Wow, there's a lot more kick up with that than I'm used to with blushes. And apply. And yeah, it's pretty. This is a shade I would realistically use as blush. However, it's not as interesting as what I'm really hoping I will find elsewhere in my collection. A second shade that, again, I've used as blush before and I know works fairly well is this other, again, light pink. For comparison, this one's actually a little bit lighter than the e.l.f. one is. This is sort of closer to being my skin tone than the e.l.f. So I suspect this will be, though I've never put them on side to side before, but I suspect that this will be a little bit more of a nude on me than the e.l.f. one was. Honestly, those are so similar that I wouldn't feel bad going out just like this. Can I see more of a difference in person? I actually think this one sheared out a little bit better. I think the formula on that one might be a little bit nicer for blush, which isn't surprising. That Maybelline matte formula blends itself practically. Yeah, there's no great difference there. Okay, now let's move up a step and look at some more sort of light purple blushes. The first one I'm going to try comes from this Wet n Wild Petalette palette. I actually think I'm going to try this one first, and I will try the shade later. But there's a couple of other colors that I'd like to more directly compare this one to. I'm just dipping in. There's going to be so much kick up in this video. It's ridiculous. Oh, I do like that. I like that. It's sort of sheer, but you do see the rosiness along with just a hint of something cooler than a pink blush would usually give me. Very nice. That gives me a little more hope than I originally had for this next one. Again, this is Maybelline City Mini, and we're gonna go into this sort of, I don't know exactly how I would describe this color. It's almost like it lives exactly at the intersection between rose, mauve, and nude. Again. Need to do some more blending work with that, but yeah, these are more wearable every day than I thought they were going to be. I can definitely see myself getting quite a bit of use out of this, though it looks like I will need to do a little bit more work to blend this particular shade out. I don't know why I'm having different experiences with that, but I feel like that went a very long way on my face, while this was easier to keep more targeted. I have one more matte purple to do, and then I will move on to that more shimmery purple I showed earlier. All right, clean blush, clean brush, clean face, kind of wet face, but oh, I wonder if that's why the other blush showed up patchy. That's because my face is a little bit wet from that makeup wipe, but I think it's gonna be okay. This is another Wet n Wild shade. It is from their Rosé in the Air palette, which is their Modern Renaissance dupe. And I'm gonna try to get into that shade. This is the smallest pans of eyeshadow that I pulled. I know that I have some other colors sort of scattered around that might make good blush shades, but if I can't get my blush brush in them, it doesn't matter to me. I don't care how beautiful those peaches and my next palette might be on my cheeks. I can't get my brush into them, so sorry, I'm not gonna risk putting green glitter on my face too. Another winner. We like this. Great. Great. Yeah, I think I need to get into slightly purple blush. I think that works really well with my skin tone. Cool. I love this video. Don't know how interesting it's going to be to anyone else, but I don't care. Now I get to move on to this pink. I've cleaned off my brush. I feel like this might be our first real fail. Okay. This one I know from experience is kind of a hard color to build up, at least on the eye, so we'll see. Holy texture, Batman. Oh, I think the ring light is canceling out some stuff, but I am seeing pores and texture that I didn't know I had. So I think we'll be keeping using that one as highlighter once in a while, and just know that we've learned something today. Though really, we've had more success already than I thought I was going to have in this entire video. So this is already a huge win. Clean off that brush again. Let's see, which direction should we move? I'm thinking, since those light purples worked really well, we might try this sort of taupey color. I have a lot less hope for this one, but this is a bad idea. I don't think that's looking bad, but I think that's because it's not really showing up very well. What is that? No. Absolutely not. No reason for my cheeks to look this grayish brown color. No. The color that really prompted this video was, where is it? This shade from the Wet n Wild palette. I was looking at some of the Patrick Ta blushes, and I was like, I think that looks not dissimilar. So let's give it a go. Oh, that's looking very orange. I thought that was gonna look camel. It's orange. Very, very orange. Yeah, absolutely not. I just don't think that's a good color for me. Obviously, I've built it up way too much at this point, but no, not a good look. It looks very much like really bad fake tan. I have very low hopes for finding anything great the rest of this video, but we're gonna just keep going because I feel like if I don't, I will realize months from now that there was something absolutely incredible just sitting in front of me. I'm gonna try this pretty cool toned purple, just because that is probably the best thing we found recently, but it's still not great. Yeah, I can see myself using that shade as a highlighter in the future. I mean, I think you can see how nice the glow it's giving, though I don't know why it's giving the stripe. That's a weird placement, but I can see myself using this as a highlighter on my cheekbones, but not blush. Lots of good discoveries today. Let's see, where shall we move next? I think we're gonna move to another quite orangey shade, which is this sort of pumpkin shade from the e.l.f. Bite Size eyeshadow palette in Pumpkin Pie. Pumpkin was a good descriptor, I guess. I'm gonna do just a little bit of that. Can you see the dust coming off of that? Because I can. You know, if I wanted an orange blush, I think I would go for this over the Wet n Wild shade I tried earlier. Honestly, I think this is the Wet n Wild leftover that I didn't quite get off. Sure was. I could see myself potentially using this, but again, I don't think so. Not for me. But I think we are on the home stretch now. I think let's finish up the couple other shades that I wanted to use out of the Wet n Wild Rosé in the Air. So these three. And then I have one quite deep purple berry shade that I doubt's gonna work out, but you know. I've got 2 cheeks. I already need to swatch 3, might as well swatch the 4th. And this is gonna be kind of hard to get these individual pans. Okay, I think I've just got the purple on there. That is not bad. That is not bad at all. I don't think I'm gonna reach for that, because I feel like if I was getting ready in the morning, that could get really out of hand really fast. But that was this particular shade. Possibilities. Move up one to its neighbor right here. I think I've actually tried this one as blush before and it was really bad, so let's see if that recollection was right. My expectations are pretty low based on everything else, but that, yeah, no, that looks very okay on camera, but very ruddy in sort of a been drinking too much kind of way. Not usually the look that I'm going for. Now we've got the orange, which I think I've also tried before, and the berry. For the orange, we're gonna call this color Fogar. This is gonna be another entry into the I think not category. I don't know where this stripe is coming. I imagine that's just where I've been hitting with the makeup wipe more, but it's not great. And even in areas where it did sort of blend, it looks very patchy. I don't think so. So now for the final shade, we're going to dip into this NYX Ultimate Edit in Ash and this berry, pretty deep purple. This isn't gonna go well, but nope. Absolutely not. Okay, so now let's reflect a little bit. Would I recommend this experience to a friend? I think so. It was not a bad way to spend a Sunday morning. My cheeks kind of hurt now, but I'll put some moisturizer on and they'll be fine. I did find a couple of colors that I think I will use in the future. I think that, where is it? I think that this is likely the shade that I will use most often. This nice light pink. I found that this is maybe even a little bit more nude than the blushes that I currently own, and it blended out really nicely. I can definitely see myself using this in the future. I think this purple shade is also a likely contender. I like the rosiness that it gave off. It sheared out a little bit more pink than I expected it to, but it still had that hint of coolness that I think looked really good with my skin tone. And I can see myself using that. And there was another light the other light purples were also fine. I just don't think I like them quite as much as that first one. And another good discovery of the day was that I can actually use this shade as highlighter. Actually, I think it would be really fun to use this blush and then this is highlighter on top of it. I think that'd be really pretty, and I think it might even bring a little bit more of that purple out of this shade. I'll have to try that sometime. You know, keep an eye out. It's probably on my channel somewhere in the coming weeks or months. And there were a lot of things in this little experiment, if you can call it that. It was just messing around. That didn't work out, but it's still useful information that I've gleaned from it. I would much rather know that this kind of color looks like really bad fake tan on me when I've already spent the actually like $2. I got this on super sale on an eyeshadow palette that I've actually used quite a bit, rather than after I bought a $15 blush. That would be upsetting. If you give this a try, I would love to hear about your results. Or, you know, if you want to make a video like this, I would love to see it. If you do, please tag me. I love multitasking products so much. I think I've talked about them like 3 times this week already. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope I will see you next time. Bye.